2, 1.
Hi everyone, I'm Jennifer Davis with REMAX Capital Properties here in Cheyenne. I'm here today with Christine Goodman, who's also here in the REMAX office.
Yes.
If you have been thinking about buying a house, there are 5 things that you absolutely cannot skip. It doesn't matter if it's your first time or your 5th time. These 5 things are unskippable.
Correct. 100%.
They're going to include find a realtor and a lender that you trust, that you feel comfortable with, who's an advocate for you. Your second one is going to be to get pre-approved before you start shopping. Number 3 is never skip the inspections. Doesn't matter, even on a new build, do not skip the inspections. Number 4 is making sure that you understand all of the contingencies and what happens if you waive those options. And then number 5, make sure that you're researching the neighborhood. You want to think long term. You don't want to just be like, oh, this is great now. Well, what is going to happen in 5 years? So,
Yes, these are all great things to have and to remember each time you go and buy a home. I'm going to start off with shopping for the right realtor for your fit and shopping for a lender for your fit. I think it's really important to, unless you already have a relationship that you already got, REMAX here as agents are well equipped. We all are very good at our education here. And the biggest thing is talk to realtors, get to know them, read their reviews. I think that's really important. Be able to find out how they want to communicate with you. Will they answer the phone? Are they, how do you want to be communicated with too? Because sometimes you might be busy and you can't take a million phone calls during the day. So, you've got to let them know. I think that's important to be able to communicate with your realtor and tell them, this is how, I want, I work during the time, this is what time I'm best at, my kids go to bed at this time. I think that's extremely important to have boundaries. And then to trust your realtor, to know their experience, what they've already done with buying and selling homes. And I think, again, also investigating and trying to find out about a lender. Right now, lenders' rates, there's quite a few are doing some amazing things right now. So I think it's great to be able to reach out to a couple lenders and see how you fit with them. Again, trust factor, and then I think that's very important to be able to get the basis down so you can be successful. In our next step,
getting pre-approved. The reason that you want to do this is because you don't want to fall in love with a home that you can't afford. So the biggest thing with pre-approval is knowing the difference between pre-approval and pre-qualification.
Yes, very important. Also for the realtor to understand that.
Yes. So what that is, the pre-approval is the pre-qualification is just the lender taking a really quick look to just kind of get a vague idea of your parameters. And on the other side, the pre-approval is them doing the dive deep. It's a little stronger with your offers because they have already started doing the work. So it's not just a rough estimate, it's more nailed down. They've already got all of a lot of your documents and have done the back end work.
The due diligence, really understanding, because sometimes I think on paychecks, people will say, oh yeah, I work, this, and then when they actually get the paycheck, they're like, oh, I thought you were, you're an hourly, not a salary, and this is all lender stuff, and that's why it's extremely important to talk to a lender to get pre-approved, because that, if you find out you're shopping well above your amount that you're
comfortable.
Yeah.
Not just what you qualify for, but what you are comfortable for.
Yeah, 100%.
Sure, you might be qualified for $1 million, but I'm only comfortable at 400.
Oh yeah. Everybody has to be able to go out to eat, go to the movies with their kids, and
you don't want to be house poor.
Yeah.
That is not what we're here for.
Yes, very much true. And then also with getting pre-approved, it just then gives you the confidence that you feel when you're out looking for a home. you feel better. You can be like, okay, this is what I can afford. I like this dollar amount. This is, and it can be reality based too. Cheyenne's houses, we have a great amount of houses right now. Our inventory is ticking up, which is great. It gives you great shoppability. Options. Yeah, options are there for sure. Yeah. Let's see. And then home inspections. So, in real estate, home inspections are very, very important because that's one of your due diligence as a buyer to be able to look at a house. And the first time you look at a house is basically with your realtor. And you can be able to walk through and, they might be able to say, oh, isn't this a great added function? Or maybe, if you see something that you don't like, then she can say, or he can say, oh, you know what? Let's look into this possible inspection that might be able to give you an answer. But I do believe the basic inspections should be done. And Jen brought up a good thing. She mentioned the fact, new construction, don't do an inspection. You should do one always. I think even with new construction, because when you go to sell that house 8-10 years from now, because life changes, and you didn't do something, then you're on the hook for it. So I think it's very important. There's a variety of inspections you can do. You can do home inspections, electrical, plumbing, sewer cameras are extremely important because houses are aging in Cheyenne. Roots and such that get into them, you can't see, because they're under the ground. That's another thing. You can't see things behind walls. Structural engineers are important. Radon. Radon is because we have that in our area. There's you can do water testing, well testings, and the nice thing is here at REMAX, we have helped people buy and sell houses, so we've used multiple vendors, and we can be able to help you get
recommendations for different options that you get to choose.
Yes, exactly, and that's the biggest thing is just don't. You have to know that. Oh, and another thing that changed this year in our contracts was the objection deadline. What else has to be included in our objection deadline?
Insurance.
Yes, that's the new
thing.
thing.
For your insurance before that objection deadline.
Yes, you have to have an idea of what that's going to cost because it could possibly change your pre-approval. Right? It could change different dollars for it. So if you have to investigate your home insurance now by your objection deadline that's in your Wyoming contracts, that's something new that's this year. Yeah. And
the next fourth item that you absolutely do not want to skip as a buyer are your contingencies. You want to understand what those are before you even start thinking about waiving those options. There are 3 main contingencies. Your first contingency is financing. It's if you are getting through the process and something happens with your loan and you can't get the lending, there's a contingency that protects you from being sued for the amount that you said that you would pay for the house. So that's a super important contingency to have in place that's written right into our contracts. The second one is the inspection contingencies that, just as Christine's point earlier, not skipping your inspections. So during that inspection contingency, you have a period of time that you have set up with your lender to have your inspections done, and then you have to submit a request for any repairs that you want by that deadline, by that objection deadline.
Objection and resolution deadlines are very important. They're part of your contingencies for your contracts.
Yep. And then the third big contingency is always the appraisal contingency. If you're getting a mortgage on the home, the lender wants to make sure that they're not overextending credit on the value of the home that you are buying. So that protects you from overpaying for a house. There are strategies that you can have. You could do an escalation clause or an appraisal gap written into the contracts to mitigate some of those contingencies. If you felt necessary, if the market required it, that's something you want to make sure that you work with your agent and understand what that is doing.
And sometimes you can waive all your contingencies, but
Yeah.
so, I mean, that's where it's very helpful to have a realtor who's experienced, understanding how a contract can be written. Because if there's no contingencies and you're taking it as is, you still have a due diligence period as a buyer to still do your due diligence.
Yeah.
So
Know what you're buying.
yeah, contingencies are great strategies when putting in an offer, and that's why you need a seasoned realtor that really knows their stuff, that and has done multiple offers and such, because contingencies can be good things in a contract. So just protect yourself. Make sure you work with a good realtor. Let's see, and then we've got contingencies. Neighborhoods. So research your neighborhood when buying a home. We don't live in a very big area. Cheyenne is what, 5 miles around, maybe at the most. So we have, and it's, I don't know, I'm pretty sure it's about that
It
big.
takes 15 minutes
Yeah.
to get from side to side.
Yeah,
That's all I know.
yeah. If you're thinking of moving to Cheyenne, the commute is incredible. It's pretty small, or not as much time. But yes, know the areas, because I have people asking me this all the time. They're always like, well, what area should I live in? And I'm like, well, you need to come in. You need to call, the police department if you've got questions, on statistics. You can reach out to the Chamber of Commerce to be able to find about different things in the area. You can call the school board to find out about the different schools. This is, know the areas, know, what we have available for, employers and such. Parks. Are parks big with you? Do you want to have a greenway? Because we have an excellent greenway. I will say that.
100 miles of greenway. That number I know.
Oh yeah, it's really it's impressive. Because some of the areas, you just see people riding on their bikes and
Walking their dogs.
watching the dog, and it looks so peaceful as I'm driving by to go to a showing. But yes, definitely know your area, because when you're buying, the first thing in real estate is what? Location.
Mm-hmm.
So the biggest thing in real estate is location, and I think that's very important for you to have. Is it more important for you to be close to work? Is it close for your kids' schools? Closer to be able to go to activities? Those are the things that you have to consider in the long term, because let's say you have hockey practice, there's one thing, how many times are you going to be going to a sporting event, and you have to run down there, after dinner, or go to practices and stuff like that. If that's important for you, you've got to research that too. There's different aspects about when buying a home, because generally most average 8 years, maybe 5 to 8.
I thought it had increased to 13.
13? Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just recently. Very recently.
Okay, yeah. So, how long have you been in your house?
I've been on my house 8 years.
8 years. Okay, I've been in mine 4. Prior to that, it was 10.
Yeah.
So, the numbers vary on how life changes you. So, it's really good research to understand your neighborhood and to be able to make a good decision for yourself when putting in your offer. REMAX, I think, is a great brokerage. We've been here for quite a few years. We do know, Cheyenne quite well. Jen's been a realtor also for quite some time too. So if you have questions on real estate, if you're just in the market and you're just starting to just be inquisitive, because this weekend when I did some open houses, there were lots of people shopping with not a pre-approval, not understanding interest rates and what interest rates were and what the payments were for that price of house, and being new to the area, and they were asking questions about the area, and I was like, whoa, this, you need to sit down with somebody and start the process and start getting educated on what you're going to do, because, there's a lot, there's a lot going on there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And in addition to knowing the neighborhood, you want to make sure that you're looking at the house in not your fit right now,
Yes.
but what might your life look like in 5 years? is this house still going to fit our needs in 5 years? I know it's a lot harder to look accurately at 10 years down the road.
Yeah,
But-
nobody has a crystal ball.
You're right, and it changes. But is there something on the horizon that you think might happen, but this house would not accommodate? That might not be a great option for you.
Yeah, but yeah, and also, you know, maybe this is this is going to be your first house and your baby step in your house, and then as you know your job and situation might change, and so you'll be able to ladder up in the world, you know, and be able to get your next house. Maybe that might be your forever house. So there's great things to be able to talk to with a realtor and try to figure out what's, you know, the best fit for you. Yeah.
So those are the 5 top things that any buyer should avoid skipping.
Yes, make sure you get your boxes, write them out there, and check them off. Thank you so much. You have a great day. I'm Christine Goodman, and this is Jennifer Davis. Thank you.